Hi everyone, if you're new here, my name's Katya and happy Pride Month. If you're interested in more Pride related content, do check out the shout outs at the end of this mini review where I highlight a couple of brilliant channels packed with all the good stuff. So today I'm talking about a slice of life fiction novel from Korea. It's called Concerning My Daughter. It's by author Kim Hye-Jin and was translated by Jamie Chang. First published in South Korea in 2017 as About My Daughter, it's an award-winning novel. When an aging mother allows her 30-something-year-old daughter to move back into her apartment, she wants what many mothers might say they want for their daughter: a steady income and a good husband with also a good, steady income to rely on and with whom to start a family. But her daughter Green turns up with her girlfriend Lane in tow, and despite having an inclination about their relationship for some years, the mother is unprepared and unwilling to actually accept Lane as Green's partner. She is very unwelcoming. In fact, she is barely civil to the other woman, which was fascinating to read about because Lane gives the mother every courtesy and consideration and more. It's so realistic to see these uneven interactions between Lane and the mother. Lane getting a verbal bashing while her actions are nothing but noteworthy and kind. And it does feel frustrating, but it feels frustrating in a really realistic way. The book is short, but it actually manages to cover several issues compellingly. It's narrated entirely by a woman of around 70 who adds pressure to her strained relationship with her daughter by her dogged determination to oppose the life that her daughter's chosen. Now, apparently, the author Kim Hye-Jin developed the story while reflecting on what the world might look like from the perspective of her mother's generation. For the mother in this book, having centered her life around her husband and her daughter's definition now as an adult of family is not one that she can accept. Her daughter's involvement as well in a case of unfair dismissal involving gay colleagues from the university where she works is similarly strange to her. And I thought the author did this really well, where at the care home where the narrator works, she's being told that she has to lower her standard of care for Jen, an elderly woman with dementia who has no family because she traveled the world as a successful diplomat and chose not to have children and to get married and all of that. And yet, Green's mother struggles to accept that her daughter is making a similar choice. Obviously, she does have a partner, but she's making a similar choice in terms of not choosing family. And it's a story of generational conflict. I like that the mother does struggle to accept lowering her standard of care for this lady at the care home. But when you juxtapose what her daughter is fighting for her colleagues and then what she would like to fight for this other person, you think, can't you see that you're sort of doing something similar? You both want to live in a better world. The main thing that I found for the mother was that she lived in a perpetual state of anxiety. It was always, what's the future going to hold for her? What's the future going to be like next? It's constant. And it's also realistic for the way that we live presently. Yes, we all talk about, yes, we must live in the now, sort of Eckhart Tolle, the power of now. But how many people actually do that when you're living paycheck to paycheck and you're worrying about bills and all of those things? So I do think this slice of life novel is just something so relatable. The narrator is wonderfully complex. She is the sort of person who is actually inwardly self-questioning, while outwardly, to her daughter, she is very rigid and demanding. And I liked that complexity to her character. The story structure is really straightforward and follows a chronological timeline, starting with the decision of the narrator to let her daughter move back in with her. And as the story unfolds, the author actually shows us the many ways in which we fail each other and how we actually show up for one another as well. So the plot and dialogue also highlight numerous valid criticisms of our modern day societies. But the book doesn't ever feel preachy. The profound criticism of how the elderly are cared for in the care home, where profit margins in this world take precedence, it's so relevant to our times. And like I said, the author juxtaposes her narrator's passionate advocacy for the elderly lady Jen in the care home and puts that together with the advocacy by her daughter Green in fighting for LGBTQ plus rights. I didn't find anything particularly new in the writing, but I wasn't expecting any sort of shock value, slice of life. It just feels realistic and it gets us to reflect. It is subjective though, because perhaps it is something new for other people, but I have found that I've read similar and I've also experienced quite a bit of this in my working life. So, yeah, the issues might not be new to me, but I still appreciated this book as a meaningful read about contemporary issues. And while the story is actually set in South Korea, the themes I think will resonate for many readers, wherever they're from or where they live. The book is currently rated 3.8 on Goodreads, and I agree with that rating. It's worth keeping in mind when deciding to read it, whether you're going to read it, that there are scenes of casual neglect in the care home and also casual violence against gay and lesbian people at the protests that Green takes part in. All in all, I really enjoyed the book, and my thanks goes to NetGalley and the publisher Picador for their advanced reader copy. For more fabulous Pride Month and queer fiction recommendations all year round, check out the channels of Leo Bancroft and Kevvie. Now, I've linked them in my video description. And that's it. Thank you very much for joining me and take care. Bye.